There are 8 million of us. Statisticians rank the San Francisco Bay Area as the 5th largest metropolitan area in all the United States. So many people. So much traffic. So many buildings. So much suburban sprawl. And yet, in the middle of all that, there are still places like this. Welcome to Eye on the Bay. I'm Brian Hackney. I am only 12 miles from downtown San Francisco. I'm just over the hill from Oakland. But in the middle of this massive metropolitan area, I am out in a tiny, rustic little community. On this episode of Eye on the Bay, we once again head down a road to nowhere, but end up somewhere in a self-sustaining community hidden deep in a redwood forest, a simple place with a simple name: Canyon. We'll go back in time and examine Canyon's literal roots. Roots that grew into mighty trees where a town flourished. And then, in the middle of the 20th century, just as the Bay Area's population was booming, Canyon had to fight for its survival.
The only way they're getting me out of this house is feet first.
And in a way, they're still struggling, because while living in Canyon may be beautiful, it ain't always easy.
Yeah, this is the commute home.
We'll visit some unique homes and learn what it's like to live in the middle of a forest. We'll also check in on a truly one-of-a-kind school system. But first, where is Canyon? And how on earth, this part of Earth anyway, did people come to live here? San Francisco Bay is surrounded by 3 of California's largest cities: San Jose, San Francisco, and Oakland. And just 2 miles from downtown Oakland? Who would guess that just over the Oakland Hills is a rural backwoods? After work and in a hurry, many of us rush through these hills into Caldecott Tunnel on our way to bedrooms in bedroom communities. But if you care to step off the hamster wheel, you might want to take the Orinda exit off Highway 24 and turn south onto Moraga Way. Now, if you drive into Orinda and through to Moraga, you'll arrive at a crossroads, literally and figuratively, called Canyon. You can also reach Canyon from the South Bay by driving north out of Castro Valley along Redwood Road. If you follow Canyon Road onto Pinehurst Road, in just a few minutes you're suddenly in a deep canyon, lined with giant redwood trees so tall they block out the sun. Temperatures in the summer are as much as 20 degrees cooler. The perfect place for, say, a national park, but you might be surprised to learn that you're in the middle of a living, breathing town. I mean, when you're in the middle of a redwood forest, the last thing you expect to see is a post office or a school. And hidden up in the hills along a private road is an entire community. Welcome to Canyon 94516. It all began with the redwoods, didn't it?
Yes, this is probably the farthest inland that the redwoods, the coastal redwoods, which are the big tall ones, ever grew.
They're 150-year-old second-growth redwoods. The first ones were chopped down. Author John Vanderzee wrote the definitive book on Canyon. How did the community of Canyon begin?
It was originally a lumber camp, and this was all logged out, first by the Spanish, and then the Mexicans, and then early Americans, and pounced on the redwood here, and could make very good building materials.
San Francisco needed wood, and the best wood was redwood. And some of the tallest redwood grew here, in a place they called, naturally, Redwood Canyon. The lumberjacks built a town here, and they lived as hard as the wood they felled.
And then it became kind of like a frontier town with a lot of bars and outlaws.
Saloons stocked with plenty of whiskey, and hotels, plenty of women. But after they chopped all the trees down, the lumbermen left. Even the town's name was sawed off. Redwood Canyon became just Canyon. As the redwoods slowly returned, San Franciscans built summer cottages in scenic Canyon, a haphazard community sprouted in the woods.
And they had just a little, general store with bread, milk, essentials.
Elena Terrell's grandfather ran the general store.
And it was the post office and store combined.
3 generations later, and on the same patch of ground, Elena is now Canyon's postmaster. Elena's dad, Joe Mengi, who had a job in Oakland, was among a group of people who, after World War II, skipped the tidy tract homes sprawling into the East Bay.
Bordering gently sloped, winding streets.
And instead, he moved into the summer cabins in Canyon to live in them, but full-time. Mengi raised 7 girls, including Elena. They all attended the Canyon School. The townsfolk went to parties at the local dance hall. Canyon was, by any measure, a town.
I remember my parents and all their friends being pretty straight-laced.
Then came the 60s.
Then little things started to change.
There goes the neighborhood. The so-called hippies moved into the Redwoods and built their own version of suburbia, odd-shaped houses and shanties.
So I built that. That was the original cabin.
They built homes without plans, without permits.
You didn't own the land, right?
No.
But the guy who owned the land said, go ahead.
Yeah, he was cool with it.
The counterculture took root.
Wake up in the morning with birds waking you up and flowers growing in the windows, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere else if I have to live in the Bay Area.
County officials became alarmed. Suburbia was in chaos.
We were all a bunch of dirty hippies, and and there were sex communes out here. And
The Hill-Jack lumbermen, it seemed, were back, and so was the booze and the pretty women, and now drugs. So officials decided to wipe Canyon off the map once and for all.
And then in the end, they condemned every house but one and told us to tear them all down again.
When we come back, the fight to save Canyon.
They came here to escape the crunch of urban life and are determined to defend what they feel is a sanctuary.
And how Canyon survived.
And here we are today.